Okay, so we're going to go over Ruby's training. That way, you can know how to be consistent, know how to correct and reward her for the behaviors that she's learned while she's been here for her board and train. So, first, I want to go over a little bit about the tools that we've used for Ruby. So, the first one here is her prong collar. And to get this on and off of her, you will grab and hold onto one prong and then you can pull the other one out of it. This will go on Ruby's neck, and then once you have it around her, you'll put one side in, pinch the two prongs together, and slide it in there. And then this will sit on Ruby's neck like this. It'll be nice and relaxed with no pressure being applied when she's doing what we want. If she does an unwanted behavior, we will say no, give her a small pop and release, and then remind her what command she was doing. And there are two different rings here. We have the O ring and the D ring here. And the D ring is what will be attached to her leash. So again, the D ring is what gets attached to her leash. And for this one, it is a no, pop and release, and then remind her what she's doing. Next, we have her e-collar. So I'm going to quickly go over how to use this, and then I'll explain more about it at the end of the video. So to get the collar turned on, you'll see this red magnet here, and then on the remote, there's another red magnet. And when we tap those two together, the collar will flash green. That means that you've turned the collar on. To turn the remote on the back here, there's that black L button in the center. And to get the remote turned on, we're going to press and hold that until it turns on. So now both the collar and the remote are turned on. And what we're going to use to correct Ruby for her behaviors that are unwanted is going to be this black S button right here on the top. And we will say no, give her a press of the button, and then remind her what she's supposed to be doing. Same as the prong collar, no, correction, reminder. Prong collar, pop and release. E-collar is just this black S button here. No, press the button, and then remind her what she's doing. So those are the tools and how to use them for Ruby. Her first command that she has learned is her heel command. That should take up about 80% of her walks, and she's on our left-hand side lined up with our leg, and we have that leash nice and relaxed for her. There's no pressure unless she gets out of our space. When she's with us, we can be rewarding her. The ways that we can reward Ruby are with treats, pets, and verbal praise. So if she's doing a good job, good girl, Ruby, good job. If we want to stop and give her a treat or keep walking and give her a treat, we can. And we can also give her some calm pets. I wouldn't be too excited with it since Ruby is still a puppy. She is easily excited, and we want to kind of keep her energy low. That way she's paying attention and focused on what she's doing. So that is her heel command. Her next command is going to be the free. That is when she is free to do as she pleases. So if she is walking next to you in that heel command and you want to give her time to sniff, go to the bathroom, kind of explore a little bit, you'll tell her free. That will release her from the heel command and then give her the opportunity to do those things like explore, sniff, and go to the bathroom. So that is again free, and that will be used to release her from all of her commands. Her next command is sit, and the sit is an implied stay, so we won't tell Ruby stay. Instead, once we ask her to sit, we'll just remind her every once in a while that she is sitting. So if you wanted to walk away and grab your shoes or walk away and grab her leash for the walk, you'll just remind her sit before walking away and doing that. And then you want to go all the way back to Ruby, good sit, reward, and then you can release her from that command or put her into another one like heel if you've got the leash hooked up. So that is sit. Especially used for door manners. We ask her to sit. We wait until we're ready for her to walk through the threshold with us, and then we tell her free. It can also be used for greetings. If you want her to meet people and remain calm, ask her to sit. The people can calmly come up and pet her, but she is required to stay in that sit. Again, give those reminders for her to help her out, and if she were to get up from that, we would say no, pop of the leash or a press of the button, and then remind her that she's supposed to be sitting. Her next command is down. Again, implied stay. So we would tell her down, And then when we wanted her to stay there for a long period of time, we're going to remind her down so that she remembers what she's doing. If you're going to keep her in that down for a long time, like we kept her in the lobby in a down for quite a while, every once in a while, we would give her a reminder. Even though we weren't moving, we would just remind her, since she has puppy brain and she can forget what she's doing or easily get distracted, we want to remind her often. That way she's not getting confused or distracted and she knows exactly what she's supposed to be doing. And same correction, you'll say no. You'll give her a pop of the leash towards the ground or a press of the button and remind her what she's doing, which is down. And again, we always want to go back to her to release from that down. That way she's never getting confused and know that you have the treats and wants to get up and come toward you quicker. We want her to stay in that down. We come all the way back to her and then we release her from that command. Her next command is place. That's that elevated boundary on the bed. Same as the other one's, implied stay. So you'll tell her place and then remind her every once in a while that she's on place and that's what she's doing. If you want to reward Ruby for this one, we try to keep the treats on the bed. So if she's doing a good job, you want to reward, you'll go to her, good place, and you can place those treats on the place bed. If she were to get off, same corrections as the others, no, and guide her back up onto the bed. That is used a lot when especially people are coming over, you want to cook, different things like that where you want her to be a part of things, but you don't want her in the way. So again, that is the place command. And I would recommend doing all of these commands with her leash on, at least in the beginning. That way she can communicate with you more easily. And then eventually the leash can be faded out and you can just use the e-collar. So that is her place command. Her next command is recall or come when called. So when Ruby is out in the yard, she's free, distracted, doing her own thing, and you're ready for her to come back to you. You'll say come, and then I like to take a few steps backwards to welcome her into my space, verbally praise her, keep her interested in you, and keep her excited until she's back in your space, and then she's expected to go into that sit automatically. Once she is sitting, you can reward her, and then same as the sit command earlier, she is in that sit until you release her by saying free again, and then she can be free to go back out, go run around, sniff, whatever she wants to do. So that is recall. 4 corrections for that. If you have her on a long line, anywhere from 15 to 100 feet, if you have her on that long line and she's doing something unwanted or you call her back to you and she doesn't listen, no, give her a pop of that leash and then tell her to come again. And then you will again do the same thing. Fun steps backwards, welcome her into your space, peppy puppy voice, get her interested in you and keep her interested in you until she's back to you. Same for the e-collar. If she's not listening, doesn't want to come back, no, press of the button and remind her what she's supposed to be doing and then be excited and keep her interested. So that is the recall or come when called command. And then her last command is a leave it command. So this is used for when there are things on the ground or the counter or different things like that that you don't want Ruby to get to. You'll ask her to leave it, and if she leaves it, you can reward her. That can be rewarded with whatever food she wanted on the ground. You pick it up and give it to her. She does good, you tell her free and let her eat it, anything like that. Or if you don't want her to eat what's on the ground, you can just give her some pets as her reward and then pick up the food before releasing her. That way she doesn't go right back into doing it. So again, that is the leave it command. This one especially and the recall, again, both of them start on leash and then eventually over time you can fade out the leash and just use the e-collar. But those are Ruby's commands, and now I'll show you her commands.
Good girl. Good job. Sit. Ruby, come.
down. Good girl. Good down. Down. Good down. Good down. Good girl. Good down. Good down. Down. Good job. Good job. Okay, so now that we've gone over Ruby's commands, kind of explained them a little bit more, and you know how to correct and reward her, and you've seen her commands now, I'm going to go over the e-collar a little bit more in depth, and I'll also refresh on the prong collar. So again, prong collar has these links that are linked together. You'll hold one of them, pull up to get the other one out. That way it's open and you can get it around her. To get it back on her and latched, you'll put one side in, pinch the two together, and it'll slide right in for you. We like to keep this part right here on the top or even a little bit to the left of her neck. That way, when she's on our side, it's nice and accessible and we're not giving any pressure on that leash when she's doing well. And then again, the D-ring is what will attach to your leash. If she does an unwanted behavior, no, pop of the leash, and then remind her what she's supposed to be doing. So again, that is the prong collar, and I would recommend having that and a leash on her, especially the first couple weeks probably while she's getting used to being back with you. She may try to be a little bit pushy, see what she can get away with because she still remembers what she did before the training. So I would have that leash and prong collar on her. That way you can easily get to her and correct her if needed. And then the e-collar. So the e-collar, again, to turn it back on, we put these two together. To turn it off, we'll do the same. We'll tap them together. It'll flash red, and that means that your collar is turned off. I'll turn it back on because we're going to need it. And the remote, same thing as before. We'll press and hold that L button until it says off and the lights go off. That's how to turn the remote off. Same thing to get it turned back on. Press and hold that L button in the center. And once that lights up, it is turned on. And the button that we use for her corrections is this black S button. Again, that is for all of her corrections. No press of the button. Remind her what she's supposed to be doing. Below that is the red S button, and that's going to be Ruby's boost level. So her normal level is at 35. She can be a little puppy and get distracted and not want to listen and still kind of have puppy brain and just be really focused on other things. And with that, her adrenaline and her pain tolerance goes up. So her normal level is 35, and then if you were to press the red button or need it for something, you would press and it's going to change to 65. So that would be her boost level. Again, we would use those in emergency situations or when she's putting herself in a dangerous situation like running towards the road and different things like that. So only use it if you absolutely need it. Again, her normal level is 35 and her boost level is 65. Then, so that is the black S button, and the red S button is her boost level. On the other side of the remote is this black T button. That is the collar's vibrate feature. And I usually use that button just to make sure that my remote and my collar are both turned on and connected. So if you press this and it vibrates, that means that your remote and your collar are turned on and that they're connected. I do that before I put that on the dog just to make sure I've got it on properly. And back here is that black L button that we use to turn the collar or turn the remote on and off. If you wanted to use it as a flashlight feature, instead of pressing and holding it, you're just going to tap it. You tap it once, the collar will flash every few seconds. If you press it a second time, it'll turn on a constant light. And then to get it turned back off, you will just hit it one more time and that will turn the flashlight off. Next to that black L button, we have this M/C button. We changed that in the beginning when we were teaching her what the collar meant and getting her properly conditioned to it. It is set to where it needs to be, so you won't really need that button at all. And then we also have the charging port here at the bottom, so you can charge the collar and the remote. There's another one here on the collar that you can use. And you can charge them both at the same time. And lastly, her level is 35 right now. Since she is a puppy, it takes a little bit more to get her attention. As she ages, her level might lower quite a bit. If you get her home and 35 doesn't seem to be working, you can raise it a little bit. I usually go by 5s and see how that does. So to turn this, right now it is set to 35, and if I turn this dial, it lights up, but it does not change the level that she's on. So to change that, I'm going to press and hold the dial down, until it flashes that number at me. You saw how sensitive it was. So that's why we keep it locked once it's set to the level that we want. So I'm going to take it back down to 35. And if you get her home, 35 just isn't working, you can turn it back up to, or you can turn it up to 40. If you get her home or as she ages and 35 just seems to be way too much for her, you think she'll listen at a lower level, totally okay to go down to 30. If she does well with that and you still think it's too high, you can go down to 25. But again, right now her level is 35, so I'm going to change it back to 35, and then I'm going to press this dial down and hold it until it flashes, change to 36, so let me put it down one more to 35, press and hold, and it is locked again at 35. Again, if that needs to change in the future as she ages or once you get her home, she's more comfortable in the area, it doesn't take as much to get her attention, you can lower that level. If 35 doesn't seem to be enough right now, she's still a puppy, so if you need to change it up to 40, you can try that as well. Again, her regular level is 35 and her boost level is 65. Once you have it at the level that you want, again, you saw how easy it was for that level to change. So we like to keep it locked to where we cannot change the level. That means that you won't accidentally change her level if it's in your pocket or around your neck and you bump it on something. We want to make sure that that's locked, so when we correct her, we're giving her the amount of correction that we want. So again, that is locked at 35 now. And now that we've gone over the collar and the remote, I showed you where those charging ports are. So inside this box here is your charger. There are 2 spaces here, so you can charge both the collar and the remote together at the same time. It usually stays charged for about 24 to 48 hours, and we usually recommend that they wear it anywhere from 12 to 14 hours a day. So put it on her in the morning, take it off before you put her up at night. Same thing for the next day, and I always turn it off in between when she's not wearing it, so overnight turn it off. That way it's staying charged for longer. And in here we also have these 2 prongs. These are a little bit longer than the ones that are currently on her collar. If you think that she's getting the thicker coat in the winter or she's just not feeling those prongs, we can always change it to these. They're a little bit longer, they get a little bit further through her thick hair, and can help make sure she's feeling the collar, especially when she gets that winter coat or changes to her adult coat. So that is what's in this box. The collar is waterproof. If you allow Ruby to get into the water with the collar on, you want to make sure that these charging ports are closed fully. And then if she does wear it in the water, once she is done out of the water, either take the collar off of her for a little bit, that way she can dry off, or rotate it to a different side. So if it's over here, rotate these prongs to this side. That way they're not rubbing on that wet spot for a long time and creating little sores from the rubbing. The collar also has a 2-year warranty, so if you need it for any reason, you can call the company and they can help you out with that. Again, these are her commands. This is how to stay consistent with her. Reward the behaviors that you want. Correct the behaviors that are unwanted. You have the tools to do it. You have the ways to reward her. So make sure that you're consistent with it, but also have fun with her. Again, she is still a puppy. She likes to have fun. So make the training fun for her. That way she's interested in it and wants to do the training with you. And if you have any questions, let us know. We are always here to help out.